You gotta realize one thing. That boy life is dangerous. And his life doesn't, and he just not dangerous with the they said he was doing, but he's in danger. He knows too much. One thing you gotta realize is he probably having a conversation right now with the higher ups and everybody else to figure out how it's gonna work itself out. Because he know all the secrets. And if he gets to run his mouth, it could be a bad look. They have the Masons. The Masons believe in God. The Illuminati believes in the devil. The Illuminati in Germany, Russia, whatever, they believe on men. They don't mean they part of the gay community. They mean they just overpower each other. And it might sound crazy, but at the end of the day, that's why there's no great talent. There's a lot of great talent out there, but some of the best talent is not having the opportunity to get in the door because the people with the secret society is messing around with each other.
Diddy's case has turned into something much bigger than his own problems. More names come to light as judicial pressure grows. These people aren't just his friends or people who help him. They're important people who work behind the scenes and may have been running the music business for years. The murmurs are becoming louder, not only about Diddy's alleged wrongdoings, but also about a clandestine network, a pyramid of influence that shapes careers, silences victims, and protects stars when things get too serious. And even if he wasn't the most important person, he might have been seen as their boss.
Some power people.
These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. You know what the #1 job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is? Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. But I'm not scared of being the competition. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team. They have all the assets and resources and we don't. But let us get on the line.
People have been talking about the dark forces that run the record business for years in mysterious interviews, in the hallways of record companies, and in the depths of song lyrics. Artists quit without giving a reason, careers take off, and problems are forgotten very quickly. However, as Diddy's case progresses and the truth emerges in court, those murmurs are becoming incontrovertible facts. Suge Knight, the controversial former CEO of Death Row Records, has resurfaced, this time with real accusations rather than cryptic warnings. He's talking about the people behind the scenes who not only controlled Diddy's growth but also made sure he was always safe. Suge claims that Diddy didn't just have lawyers and executives backing him, he had a system in place, a protective shield made by invisible influences that kept him untouchable. But now that Diddy knows too much, his life is at risk. Suge didn't stop at criticizing the industry's shadow figures, he pointed fingers at the business titans. He emphasized Diddy's intimate relationship with the alcohol industry, especially with Dow, the force behind Ciro and Delian. According to Sue, Diddy was more than simply a brand ambassador. He was intentionally situated to siphon billions into corporate coffers while being taught to feel he possessed real power. However, when Diddy began to question those in power, the system turned against him.
His life doesn't, and he's just not dangerous with the shit they said he was doing, but he's in danger. He knows too much. One thing you gotta realize is he probably having a conversation right now with the higher ups and everybody else to figure out how it's gonna work itself out. Because he know all the secrets. And if he gets to run his mouth, it could be a bad.
Suge claims that when things started to fall apart, sponsorship deals centered on relationships. One by one, they went, in their place came lawsuits, investigations, and the gradual public disintegration of a man who had looked unbeatable. It wasn't a coincidence, it was a planned takedown. Suge didn't hesitate to go further, suggesting what many others had only murmured in secret. He argues that these corporations are more than just enterprises. They are fronts for something far older, more structured, more deliberate. He refers to them directly as the Illuminati and the Freemasons. According to him, these are more than just buzzwords. They symbolize the unseen forces that rule the show.
Legal. These guys is smart enough to be humble, but wide enough to be aggressive tough. So when Puffy challenged them, and they knew Puffy lived in the glass house, his house came tumbling down because those rocks was coming through that glass house. on the simple fact. When he called those guys racist, and he knew he had those secret, hidden secrets.
Sugge uses figures like Diddy and other global celebrities to say that these powers determine who rises and falls to popularity. He says it is no longer earned. It is expected that young artists labor relentlessly, but when the doors do not open, they turn to the legends for assistance. But those luminaries, such as Diddy, are tied not only by contracts, but also by power. They aren't guards, but gate puppets.
They ain't just found out that the Queen's puppy was doing. They ain't just found out how the industry is. They haven't just found out how they pick and choose. They're part of the government. And I say that because that's why they were so easy to snatch motherfucking Puffy down. And all the people that Puffy fuck with, they can't say nothing because they're part of it too.
And while Diddy may have organized claimed abuse and manipulation within his own circle, such as with Cassie Ventura, he couldn't employ the same tactics against the genuine talent guarded by these higher forces at the top of the pyramid. The regulations change. The actual gatekeepers do not negotiate. They make the choices.
No. You guys being fooled. The best talent we have in the industry right now is some of the talent you guys never heard. There's a lot of guys all around the world. It's the world's best kept secret when it comes to music. People are starting to use their friends or artists who play those games. Basically, they on the level because they did everything that these people wanted them to do. They sold it.
Through figures like Diddy and other global superstars, Sugge says that these powers decide who rises and who disappears. Fame, he says, isn't earned anymore. It's a sign new artists grind, hustle, and pour everything into breaking through. But when the doors stay locked, they turn to the legends for help. And even then, those legends like Diddy are bound by contracts not just of paper, but of power. They're not gatekeepers, they're gate puppets. And while Diddy may have been, Sugge made it plain that Diddy may have ruled the clubs, the charts, and the red carpets, but to the builders of this industry, those who pull the strings from the shadows, he's just another piece on the board, and crossing them is a game that Diddy can't afford to play.
And we all joke about it, but they always had a conversation about it, and I always say the same thing. I always say, well, you had Illuminati, and then they have the Masons. The Masons believe in God. The Illuminati believe in the devil. And the Illuminati's in Germany, Russia, whatever, they believe on men on men. They don't mean they part of the gay community. They mean they just overpower each other. And it might sound crazy, but at the end of the day, that's why there's no great talent. There's a lot of great talent out there, but some of the best talent is not having the opportunity to get in the door because the people with the secret society is messing around with each other and messing with people's heads.
And once that protection, which was most likely based on his major commercial links to Diageo, was gone. After the quiet lawsuit and discreet settlement, things started to unravel. Only 2 months later, federal officials searched Diddy's residence. The timing was too perfect to overlook. It's almost as if the green light was given when Diageo stopped their relationship. Was Diageo the quiet protection all along? And when it was removed, did the true gatekeepers of the business decide it was finally open season on Diddy? The message shows loud and clear. Without protection, no one is safe, not even the tycoon who previously dominated the chart clubs and corporate boardrooms.
It's way too many things that are coming out right now, especially when you think about the lead prosecutor. It was supposed to be Damian Williams, who he resigns December of 2024. He says, no, I'm not going to be dealing with this case on Epstein. And he's been on the Epstein, on Diddy, and he's been on the lead prosecutor for Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and a lot of other things. And then the person that replaces the lead prosecutor to prosecute Diddy is Maureen Comey. Maureen Comey is the daughter of James Comey. James Comey, just a week ago, posted 8647. He found these beautiful shells, seashells that says 86 accidentally. Of course, he would never do such a thing. And he posts these 8647 shells, and then his daughter is the lead prosecutor for Diddy. And Diddy has all this information to other people.
Even Joe Rogan couldn't ignore the fury building around Diddy. On his show, he reiterated what many people have been thinking but few have dared to say. This isn't simply a celebrity scandal. It's much more serious. Rogan drew parallels with the Epstein case, in which the court system looked tainted, with district attorneys reportedly concealing evidence to protect the elite.
He sues Diageo. Diddy filed a lawsuit accusing Diageo of neglecting the De Leon brand, racial discrimination, claiming they marketed it as an urban product and failed to treat him as a true business partner. Then in January 2024, they settled out of court. Diageo and Diego settled the dispute out of court. While details still remain sealed, the settlement marked the end of their business relationship. So this is from 2007 till 2024, 17 years. Could they have protected him? I don't know. Their CEO currently today is Deborah Ann Crew. She was a former intelligence officer in the military. Once intelligence officer, forever you're an intelligence officer. Who knows what happened? We don't know the relationship. We're not going to make any accusations. All we know is, could this have been a protect?
He suggested that something similar could be happening here, and that Diddy's fabled parties may have been more than just celebrity gatherings. According to Rogan, there's a good probability that some very prominent people were regulars at those parties, and now that the trial is heating up, the concern isn't just about Diddy going down. It's about who else might be revealed along the way. Joe Rogan did not hold back. He theorized that Diddy could end himself suffering in jail for the rest of his life if things continue to go as they are. But then the twist happened. Rogan and his guest also warned that this case could follow the same unsettling road as the Epstein story. Despite explosive claims of child trafficking and elite participation, Epstein's trial never actually brought justice. No key players have ever been held accountable. Rogan questioned whether Diddy's case would follow the same pattern of enormous headlines, terrible accusations, and then silence.
Where they were at the parties and they knew things that were taking place and are like, wait, what do you want to do to us? No problem. Boom, drop the bomb. I don't know. All I'm saying is the timing is kind of strange. Maybe even they wanted to kind of be like, look, we know what's about to be dropped on this guy. We want to have nothing to do with you. We're out. Here's some money. You stay quiet. We'll pay you, but we want to get out of here. The only thing at the time is kind of crazy is January 2024, they settle. 2 months later, remember what we're sitting there doing and minding our own business? And you hear, March of 2024, the feds are raiding Diddy's Miami home and his LA home. For what?
Joe even claimed that Diddy might not have been the brains behind it all. He questioned how one person could devise such a complex system of drugging celebrities, having crazy parties, and staging what some have dubbed freak-offs. Rogan noted that Diddy couldn't have done it all on his own. Maybe limit access to secrets. It all leads to something larger. Perhaps Diddy wasn't only the boss. Perhaps he was working with or for someone else.
Had conversations with people about it, and it's like, Jesus, like just trying to get the documents. Like when they're trying to get the Epstein files, like they're the state of New York. One of the district attorneys was they were hiding documents. They'd have forced them to give documents. I think there's so many fucking powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied.
Joe Rogan went even deeper, suggesting that these parties were more than just wild celebrity gatherings. He suggested that this could have been a planned system of control to get these celebrities into a room, introduce them to the chaos, and tell them, look, even Bill Clinton's been here to normalize the madness, and then slowly push them past the line with drug pressure and influence once they are compromised and get it all on tape, use the video as leverage. According to Rogan, this wasn't just Diddy's playground. It may have been a setup meant to own individuals and keep them under control indefinitely.
Diddy's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. I think he's probably going to get
think he's
hit up.
insane though?
I don't know. I don't even think it matters. I mean, it's a lot of it is.
But then it's just another Epstein.
There's
It's
murder
another Ghislaine Maxwell, where
there's
somebody
murder
gets indicted
cases.
and nobody else indicted for trafficking kids to
Right.
no
To-
one.
Even while numerous celebrities have suggested that someone or something considerably more powerful is pulling the strings behind Diddy, the facts emerging from the trial are very frightening on their own. One witness, a man identifying himself as a sex worker, took the stand and gave disturbing testimony. He claimed to have been hired multiple times by Sean Diddy Combs, but what he described much exceeded anyone's expectations. According to his story, he was constantly told to have sex with Diddy's then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Diddy stared from the shadows. The entire courtroom was shocked.
easy. Now, if that's not an intelligence agency operation, it's just an evil super genius who figures out how to compromise everybody by providing this crazy freak off party. Everybody's got to put their phones away. Okay, we're going to put our phone away. No one's going to know anything. Yeah, I mean, he's going to get cameras everywhere. It's just one guy doing that. What a diabolical human being.
Yeah.
He seems pretty diabolical.
He's probably working with somebody. Or for somebody.
Maybe.
And maybe he just got too far out there.
Some of the came out in the trial, though, like he's forcing his girlfriend to have sex with prostitutes while he was sitting there jacking off with a bandana on. She'd rub the jizz on his nipples. Like, what are we even talking about?
Williams saw it coming long before the news broke. In one of his now famous interviews, he didn't just comment on the business, he exposed it. He warned that strong figures were trying to silence him not because he was insignificant, but because he knew too much. He claimed he had been observing the game for years, knowing its rules and who truly held the power. He called out the system, and he called out Diddy. Watch this famous moment where Katt Williams predicted Diddy's collapse in early 2024. How did those heads go down? Even Ice Cube couldn't ignore Diddy's unexpected and dramatic death, and he didn't hold back in a recent visit. Cube stated what many are starting to suspect. This isn't random. This isn't fairness. According to Cube, the way this case is evolving, the exactly timed revelation of evidence, and the planned media onslaught are like a sudden awakening after nearly 2 decades. The hush surrounding the storm suggests that somebody far larger is orchestrating the whole thing. He raised an important question. Why now? Why wasn't anyone worried when Diddy allegedly engaged in these activities for years? Why was there silence before? But now there is chaos. Cube made it plain that this is more than just the law catching up. It is a takedown, an intentional demolition. Someone with great power is pulling the strings behind the scenes, and Diddy, who was previously shielded, is now being made an example of. The true question, Cube suggested, is not what Diddy did, but who decided it was time to bring him down.
Well, it would be a great way to compromise celebrities. Yeah. And get them to say whatever you want them to do, get them to do whatever projects you'd like them to do. And, you know, if you're a bunch of other celebrities are there, you're like, oh, look, Bill Clinton's here. This is fine.
Yeah.
This is cool. Look at this. Like, Brad Pitt's here. Oh, this is cool. You don't even think there's anything wrong with being there. Meanwhile, you're getting drugged up and filmed. And then they're passing out punch. Have some punch, Aaron. And you have some punch, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm really good. I just feel amazing. You're all mollied up. You don't know what the f*** you're doing. Probably a combination of things they give you.
And it's all being filmed.
Heard from a man who described himself as managing a male review show from 2012 to 2013. Says his boss called him to go to a hotel in Manhattan where he met Cassie Ventura at the door. He says she was dressed in a red wig, red lingerie, and essentially gave him $4,000 with the intent that he was going to have sex with her. He also noted that Sean Combs, he said that first encounter was off to the side and watched Cassie Ventura and this male review show manager have and masturbated as it was happening.
I don't know enough to even be able to be specific on any of this stuff. It's just all speculation. I just know he was cool up until a point, and then this stuff started happening. So I believe somebody, you know, like I said, yo, he's our new guy. We on this.
Finally, Diddy's situation is more than just a fall from grace. It is an awakening, a glimpse into the secret world of fame, power, and the cost of quiet. For years, stories circulated across the music business about manipulation, mysterious handlers, and stars who were never fully free. The whispers are now turning into a roar. The organized collapse of Diddy's business, the precisely timed leaks, and the legal machinery suddenly in full swing all hint to something considerably more complicated than one man's misdeeds. Perhaps he was the architect of horrific crimes, but was he ever the mastermind, or simply a piece in a far deeper game involving figures such as Suge Knight, Katt Williams, Joe Rogan, Ice Cube, even Patrick Bet-David steps ahead? The story has evolved. It is no longer about a single person, but about a system, a machine that creates rulers just to destroy them when they no longer conform. Diddy's story may conclude in a trial, but the questions will endure. Who truly pulled the strings? Who else was in those rooms? And as the final act unfolds, will Diddy be the only figure left in the spotlight, or merely the first domino to fall? One thing is certain: the industry's shadows are becoming hard to ignore. Now it's up to you. Do you think this is just about Diddy, or are we watching the unraveling of something much larger, with Diddy serving as the scapegoat for a system that has operated unchecked for years? Consider the timing, the sudden shift from silence to turmoil, the quiet departures of key figures, and the unsettling links to strong institutions. Could this be the beginning of the